Welcome back to the programme. Sri Lanka's President Rajapaksa has resigned. That news filtering through in the last few minutes. A spokesperson telling the BBC that the Speaker of the Parliament has received the original letter via the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in Singapore. Earlier, of course, the President had arrived in Singapore. But let's head to Colombo, show you the pictures first on the ground, on the streets, because that news is emerging. And people, of course, who have been on the streets in such huge numbers in the past few days, celebrating that news as more of it just filters round the capital. And our South Asia regional editor, Ambrasan Ethirajan, is also there in Colombo for us. And this news just being confirmed in the last few minutes. So take us through it, because originally it came by email, but now they have the original letter, don't they?
That's what the office of the Speaker of Parliament here in Sri Lanka, they say that now a letter signed by Mr. Rajapaksa has been handed over to the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in Singapore. And the Speaker's office has also issued another statement in the last few minutes, and where he says that Mr. Rajapaksa's resignation will be done, officially announced tomorrow, once the legal verification of the President Rajapaksa's letter and other legal procedures are followed. So basically they have got these letters now, and then they will go through these procedures. But in the meantime, the news itself is being greeted with a lot of jubilation by protesters just behind me. That is the main protest site here in Colombo, Goldfish Green. And the people have been here for months, and they are waiting for this news that they wanted President Rajapaksa to go, and now the Speaker of Parliament says he has received the letter. And this is again a major victory. People's power, what they describe as the elder brother of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Mahinda, resigned about 2 months ago when he was the Prime Minister. So that time itself, many people thought it was like half victory. Now we got Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well. Now what this means for Sri Lanka is, now this allows the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to assume the role of interim president. He needs to be sworn in for that purpose, and then within 30 days the Sri Lankan Parliament will have to reconvene the Parliament, and the members of Parliament will choose the next president.
Will those protesters accept the Prime Minister in that interim role after what we saw yesterday?
Yes, they also wanted Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to leave. That's why they even stormed into the office of the Prime Minister. Dramatic pictures. This was all part of what was happening in this country. Quite extraordinary, because thousands of people stormed into the highly guarded compound of President Rajapaksa's residence, just about 50 meters in this direction. And then it followed the Prime Minister's residence, and then private residence of Mr. Wickremesinghe was set on fire. And yesterday, the office of the Prime Minister was stormed into by thousands of protesters. But the protesters here, they say that they will not accept Mr. Wickremesinghe's role, even as interim president. They want him to go as early as possible. That's why they're calling for Parliament to convene, and the parliamentarians, they can choose their own leader, they can choose their own candidate. The main opposition leader, Sajith Premadasa, told me a few days ago that he would be running for presidency. What this means is, if it is not done, this political stalemate, this political crisis continues. And it is not an ordinary situation here in Sri Lanka. The country is going through its worst ever economic crisis since it got independence from Britain in 1948. People are struggling to have 3 meals a day. There are long queues outside fuel stations, and children are struggling to get the milk powder. Cooking gas cylinder are in short supply. The country doesn't have enough money to buy fuel from oil suppliers. They don't know where they're going to get the shipments from next month onwards. That is what even the central bank governor was warning. So they wanted a government, as the central bank governor said, even to negotiate with any of our creditors, we need a president, a cabinet, and a government so that decisions can be taken. This political crisis has been going on for too long for many of the businesses here, exporters here, people who want to come and invest in this country. For example, just on my left is a port city being built on reclaimed land. China has invested $1.4 billion, and they want to create a commercial city here. So these uncertainties causing huge problem for Sri Lanka's business and also for the people of Sri Lanka.